Welcome to Blade HQ, everybody. Today is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026, and it is our first new knives of the year. We apologize for being a day late. We had some internet trouble yesterday, but today we do have a ton of new knives. And before we get into those, we're going to talk about our sponsor, Vosteed. Vosteed is a newcomer to the knife industry, relatively speaking, and they have come with a vengeance, and they have been absolutely killing it lately. These are just a couple of their fixed blades. And when we talk about Vosteed, we often talk about their folders because of how innovative they are with locks, but their fixed blades are also really, really good. Here we have some 14C28N blades. This one's the H-back, and this one is the Marmoset. These are great EDC blades. They have really nicely contoured handles. They are well made in such a way that you would expect them to be worth a lot more than they go for. And I just love that Vosteed is delivering that level of value to all of us. And look at this Kydex. This Kydex is positively dialed. And this is another fancy feature here, is you have two adjustment rows here. So that means if you want to adjust the retention of the knife, make it click a little harder or less hard, you can tighten or loosen these screws and move them further up and down. And I like that we have two of those here because it gives you ultimate customizability of how your sheath experience wants to be. If you want something super rugged that holds upside down and you have to really push the blade out, fine. If you want this thing to just fly out of the sheath, and it's going to live vertical on your tack belt or whatever, you can do that too, all with the same knife for well under $100. Thank you so much, Vosteed, for sponsoring this video, and please continue making awesome knives at awesome prices. Now, without further ado, let's talk about some knives, starting with the LionSteel Nini. This is a new folder that we just barely got in. It was announced last year, and I don't know if it's the first LionSteel crossbar lock, but it's definitely among them. But it is a LionSteel through and through. Here we have a 2.7-inch blade of MagnaCut steel with a beautifully rounded spine. That is something that you see a lot on the Italians that I wish we saw from everyone. The rounded spine is just so comfortable to use on the hand. And then the same crossbar lock with a nice strength to it, as well as ambidextrous usability. And then the handle here is the micarta one. There's also some that have titanium bolsters. If you want the titanium bolsters, that'll set you back $202.95. This guy is only $178.95 with the full micarta. I also have 6.42 overall inches and 2.2 ounces, so a very nice lightweight EDC knife. And I really love this pocket clip. So this pocket clip goes all the way through the handle. You can see there are no screws there. The screw to mount the pocket clip is here inside the backspacer. And you can see how it's kind of exposed here. It gives you a really nice clean appearance. You're not gonna have any empty holes or anything. And it's going to be the easiest in and out of the pocket experience you can possibly fathom on a knife. LionSteel really did a good job on this, and the fact that you're getting all of these features made in Italy to this spec for less than $200 without the bolsters and just barely over if you want the titanium is very impressive. I will argue till the cows come home that the value in the knife industry has just grown over the last few years. People are trying to find new ways to bring you better value at better prices. Next up, we have the USA-made ProTech FlyFather 2. We've seen a few of these, but we just got a big shipment in, so be excited. These are $330, gets you a 4-inch blade of 154 cm, 9.1 inches overall, weighs 3.5 ounces. So the FlyFather was like a peer pressure project from a few years ago, and that was the first ProTech bow song. However, Dave Wattenberg is the guy over at ProTech. He is a master of managing relationships in the knife industry. And this one is a ProTech, but it is also a Squid Industries knife. Squid Industries is the primo organization for competitive bow song flippers. So here you have the handles of a squid. You got Zen pins, you got channel aluminum construction, just absolutely buttery smooth on the action, very nice. But this blade is a ProTech through and through. Just look at this. It is the absolute needle-like tip and the bayonet grind you find on the Godfather. So definitely, you know, I might just have to say this is the most gangster knife at Blade HQ. This thing just feels so cool. You pick it up, you just want to cut and poke and all that, and then you can flip it. Oh, it's super great. Anyway, $330, these are probably going to go pretty quick. My favorite feature also is this is a great EDC bow songs. It comes with a pocket clip that is recessed, that is 4-position placeable. So if you carry front pocket, back pocket, right side, left side, you can always carry it in such a way that you can tuck the safe handle up against your seam of your pocket so it's not going to open, but then you just pull it out and you're ready to cut. Very nicely done, ProTech, and very nicely done, Squid Industries. Next up, we got a couple of new stuff from CIVIVI, starting with the Slippy Sendy. So this is a Ben Peterson design, just like the Sendy that came before. And this one is the slip joint version. And one thing I appreciate is it's not a super hard slip joint. It's not like you really have to crunch it. It's just like a very simple movement. You get to the half stop, then you can send it shut as well. In this one, we do have a stop pin on the inside, so you don't have to worry about pushing it in and chipping the edge on the back spacer. Got these nice G10 handles, and this is the drop point, clip point one. However, that sort of spay blade version is available as well in a different handle flavor. And another thing to note here is this one does not have the Ben Peterson traditional and customary toothpick and tweezers. Just a straight up knife, a very nice in-pocket carry, or do a slip with it, or however you want to carry a slip joint. This one will do just fine. This guy, we have a 2.8-inch blade of Nitro V blade steel. We have 6.5 inches overall, weighs, it says 4.15 ounces on my paper, but I'm holding this and I'm calling hacks. I do not think it is that heavy, but it's a nice knife. Goes $52.70, a nice budget-friendly knife as well. And it's hard to find a good slip joint with this quality of walk and talk for less than 60 bucks. Like very, very nicely done. Ben and done CIVIVI. Next up from CIVIVI, we have something that is a knife, but it's also kind of not a knife. But I'm very excited about this. This is the Partake. And this is sort of a modern version of the classic hobo tool. I remember I got a hobo tool when I was 8 years old and I became a Cub Scout. And basically it was a slip joint multi-tool that had eating equipment on it. And traditionally on the spoon side, because here you have a big old spoon that you can absolutely eat with, it also has a knife, a serrated knife, so that way when you have the fork open, you don't have to eat like a heathen. You can eat the way the queen would, continental style. Cut yourself some food and munch. Good times. Anyway, and instead of having a kind of janky click mechanism in the back, it has these nice magnets. So you seat this together, twist it together, there it is. Not gonna be hard at all for you to actuate. And then on the fork side, we have a can opener. So if you need to open a can of beans or whatever on the trail, it'll be right there for you. And then I believe this is the first waxed canvas thing I've seen from CIVIVI. We have a nice waxed canvas little holster for it, which you can just throw inside your bag so you can keep your food equipment from getting dirty. And I especially like the price, $84.75. It's not crazy expensive, it's very doable, but it's also built well enough that you can trust it for a lifetime of all of your camping adventures. Next up, all you front flipper fans, we've got new Kizer Feist models. So a little bit of knife history for you. About 5-10 years ago, a guy named Justin Lundquist burst onto the scene, and the Kizer Feist was among the first front flippers that sort of got mainstream attention. People loved the Feist. We ran a bunch of exclusives of them, and then they kind of, I don't want to say they lost relevance, but we kind of stopped talking about them quite as much. But Justin was still cooking with it, and he has the Feist 2 now, which has a few different blade styles. This one I thought was kind of interesting. It's almost like a Pakal style blade, which is very much akin to a tactical knife, where because it's like a hawksbill, but instead of angled forward like a karambit would, it's kind of angled backwards. So that way when you hold it in this reverse grip, it becomes a bit of extra handy in a grapple. Kind of fun, but here it's on a front flipper with a titanium handle and an M390 blade. Kind of fun. And then we also have this more conventional long clip point, maybe a trailing point almost. And some of the big things that changed here is, look at this back spacer, or should I say lack thereof. There's a lot of milling on the inside of the handle, so you don't need a back spacer. All you have is screws. It's gonna be very nice. Good skeletonization in the handle as well. Lots of thoughtful jimping and texturing. Makes it very comfortable and easy to use. A great EDC knife all the way around. These are going for $169.95. Gets you these full titanium handle scales, 2.12 ounces, 2.87 on the M390 blade, and 6.5 inches overall. Great EDC knives, and I love that we're getting them in a few different blade styles as well. Next up from Mirotech, we have the Luminary. So the Luminary came out a little while ago as a very interesting crossover in the tactical world. So Mirotech made the Luminary, which is one of the first of the zero blade play models. This one has nothing. It feels like a fixed blade. M390 MK on the blade. This particular model has the plain edge and then the serrated top edge. However, there's a few different flavors over at bladehq.com. The full aluminum handle and the button, and where it kind of gets the same luminary, is it has a tritium insert in there. So if I grab my UV flashlight right here, you can see it glow under the light, which under studio lighting, you kind of have to have this to make it glow big and bright. But at nighttime, you're going to be able to see just this little pinprick of blue light wherever you are. It's not going to be so much that you can read by it or anything, but it's going to make finding your knife really easy. It also is cool. It's a radioactive isotope of hydrogen. What's not to like? Anyway, the Luminary also was originally released in a combo pack with Surefire. So you get the Surefire Stiletto Pro with a Microtech and Surefire combination logo on it, as well as this guy. However, you can still get the Surefire Pro alone. However, the Luminary is now available as a standalone knife as well. Very exciting, a very high quality knife. These are going for $557 at bladehq.com right now. Next up, we have the DCA designed MKM Pocket Tango 4. So we've seen the Pocket Tango before, had a few different blade styles. The brand new one has this clip point blade, which I personally think is my favorite of the Pocket Tangos, just because it has a nice indexed tip that's going to be piercy enough for cutting things, give you a nice belly for slicing, just a nice EDC profile. It also comes in a few different styles of handle. This one's the carbon fiber one, which is the fancier one. Goes for $239. However, you want the G10 or micarta, those go for $219.90. Very nice knife. These ones also have LMAX blades, and I've been seeing a lot of MagnaCut coming out of Italy, but it's kind of fun to see LMAX. LMAX is definitely a high edge retention steel, and because of the way its carbide structure forms, it takes a polished edge really nicely, and it gets nice and sharp. So if you're a sharpening nerd or a bit of a steel nerd, I think this LMAX version might be the one to check out. There's also a nice pocket sheath for it. I'm not going to push this in too hard because one of you guys gets the privilege of breaking this guy in when you put it in your pocket. But a nice pocket sheath for however you like to carry your knife. Very nicely done, MKM. Next up, we have from GiantMouse the REO. So I want to say REO. So REO is a car brand from a long time ago, and they had a car called the Speedwagon, and there was a band who became REO Speedwagon, but REO was the name, and that is the same brand that this is based off of, REO. We have a MagnaCut blade on this guy, 3.3 inches, 7.9 inches overall, and it sets you back $315. We have a black titanium handle here with brass accents, and one thing I really love about the brass accents is, in addition to just looking great and matching the black nicely, they put a little bit of extra weight at the base of the handle. As you can see, it kind of moves the balance point of the handle here a little bit behind the finger choil. And what that does is if you open up your hand, there's no wiggle or anything. It just wants to stay in your hand, which I really appreciate because I don't like dropping my knives, especially ones with fine blade steels like these. If you chip the edge on MagnaCut, good luck sharpening it out. It's got really high edge retention and by extension, very high wear resistance. So it'll take you a long time to sharpen it out. Anyway, honestly, and I'm impressed by the lightweight of this as well. It has quite a bit of like skeletonization on the inside of the show scale, so that brings the weight down to about 3.2 ounces. Not bad to carry. Reversible tip-up wire pocket clip as well. Great EDC knife from GiantMouse and a brand new flavor of this particular model. And then lastly, we have the Desert Warrior and Desert Warrior Remix versions of the QSP Penguin restocked. Very exciting. I've got 3 inches of D2 blade steel with this nice sheep's foot blade. It's going to be a great beginner knife too, because these ruler straight edges are much easier to sharpen than things with curves. And also a 3.14 ounces. So it's not going to be too hard to carry. Love that we have a pocket clip insert here, so it's going to maintain a nice clean appearance. But if you were a lefty, you can just swap the pocket clip right over. All the different colors, all the fun flavors and everything. Who doesn't love a good Desert Warrior? They're here. They're going for $54.95 at Blade HQ while supplies last. Anyway, that is just a sampling of what is new at Blade HQ this week. Head over to New Arrivals and check out what's there. And make sure you click the subscribe button below, because in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be in Las Vegas at SHOT Show 2026, and you're going to see all of the crazy new stuff coming along. We'll see you there.